Hey, it's Dorleen. Welcome to my channel and welcome to my creative life. I am creating a one-page layout to coordinate with a previous layout that I had created. So in December, I tried to take at least one photo a day. Now, there are some days that I take multiple photos, and those I will do separate layouts, but I call this my December daily. I'm sure you've heard of it. Most people do a completely different album or like a mini album of it, but I don't do that. I don't do a lot of mini albums anymore, but I like to still take a picture a day because there's so much going on in December. We have a couple of birthdays. We have just, our normal traditional type activities, things like that. And so I really do like to record all the things. Now, as I'm filming this, of course, I ran out of adhesive on my ATG. And so I'm just refilling it here. I like to film it every so often because I don't know about you, but it took me a long time to figure out how to put this together or how to re-thread it, even though they are literally just instructions on the tool itself. But anyhow, back to the layout. So here is the layout, the cover or overlay that I had created, and I'll put a link to that video down in the information box and show you how I did that and how I created that layout. But I wanted this to coordinate. Now, I should have probably done another overlay, but I didn't think about it at the time. So what I'm doing here is I'm using the same green paper that the other one was, so it's the exact same color. And then I'm just trimming down some red strips, thanks, and putting them on the side of this black pattern paper, Christmas pattern paper. Now, this is giving the illusion that it has been matted by an even larger piece. But folks, why waste all that beautiful red when you know it's just going to be covered? So putting strips like this gives that same look, but you use less paper. So just a little tip. Now, when I'm putting this together, like I said, I'd had a lot of the pictures already in that other layout, but these were some that were left over. Just some, there was a Christmas tree down in Union Square in San Francisco. We also do when you drive around looking at lights. And so that's what my granddaughter over there on that far left. And also the picture on the bottom is one of our favorite houses that they do. You turn it to a radio station and the lights coordinate with the music. It's amazing. It's so awesome. And then the other picture is my granddaughter. They just live, 6 houses to be exact, down the street from us. So it's always one of those, okay, she's coming. So I stand on one end, my son or my daughter-in-law stand on the other, and we watch her, and she's just wrapped in tinsel, and I thought that was hilarious, so I had to take a picture. So I'm just using my T-square ruler to make these sort of straight. I mentioned before, even with the T-square, nothing ever seems to be straight, but I'm at least attempting. And I'm just going through some embellishments that I have and trying to coordinate something, because on the other side, I used like a musical note. I used a couple of things from the same pack, which you can see here that I'm pointing out. I also have a really cute cutout from Printable Cuttable Creatables that I put on that bottom right-hand corner. So what I did now is I'm going back, and I thought, you know what? You're right. It was too late to do an overlay, but I kind of thought, why not do kind of a overlay-ish thing over there on the top? Now I'm going to show you in a little bit how I created this, but basically I took that same tree from the car and I copied it 3 times, made them different sizes, and then I kind of grouped them together to create a bunch of trees or a group of trees, and I flipped them and I did some things to make it just look a little bit more interesting. Now, unfortunately, I didn't have the same greens as the first tree, but it all works because it's all green and it's all Christmas, so it works fine. So once I put them together, I glue them all together off screen. I did decide to put a white background behind it because I thought that looked a little bit cleaner than having all that pattern paper and the red strips underneath. And I'm going to go ahead and attach this just in this upper part of the tree. I'm using the liquid adhesive for the thinner parts and then just my ATG gun for the larger piece in the white. Once I trim that down, I love the way it looks so far, and it's all good. Now, I'm going to show you in just a little bit with my Cricut Design Space on how I put this together. But right now, I'm just adding some white highlights, which is exactly what I did on I'm calling it the right side. This will be the left side of that spread. And I'm just going around the boxes as well. So now it's already starting to coordinate. You can kind of tell they go together, or they should go together. And I really like the way it looks so far. I hope you agree. Now, let's go on over to the Cricut. So I already created it, so I'm just going to kind of talk about it. So the first thing I did, like I mentioned, I got the trees and I duplicated them 3 times. Now, one is one size and the other are 3 different sizes. And I mentioned before that I flipped them, and you can flip them by those little icons above. So once I do that and I group them, now I'm going to go over to the little pencil, because this is how you edit now. And I'm going over to the offset, which gave me that shadow. So I'm not going to do it now, but you know what an offset is. It just gives a little bit of a base, or an offset of the image that you just did. So I put that over to, I got 2 squares. One was 4 and one was 4, or 4.5 and 4. Even them up, and then I split them in. And then I put that offset inside the middle of those squares. And then I welded it all together. I did the same thing with the rectangle. I measured from the page what I needed. I did another rectangle a little bit smaller by 1/2 inch, and then I sliced that out. I combined them together and then welded those all together. I hope that makes sense. But again, check out my video on making an offset, and I think that'll make a little bit more sense. I definitely saved it because you just never know. Something might go wrong when you cut it, and I didn't want to start all over again. So I went ahead and cut that out, and like I said, finished it all up. Now, I'm looking at this thinking, okay, I do need to add a little bit more. So I pulled out those same embellishments that I used over at that other scrapbook layout, and I'm going to add some musical notes. And the thing is with these embellishments, they're really cute, but I didn't really want to add more what's the word, variety, because they had like gingerbread men, they had poinsettias, but I didn't have that in the other one. So I was really kind of sticking to the music notes, and the silver of it I think really made it really pretty. I thought about putting that Santa hat, and you're going to see me kind of messing around, but the more I thought about it, the more I thought, no, it just kind of looks silly, and I didn't need it so much. I just really wanted that music notes. But I'm going to tell you folks, I didn't film it, but I end up putting that poinsettia paper that the word December is on that right side, and I ended up putting that on the side of where the picture of my granddaughter and the trees, and you'll see that at the end, but that made such a huge difference. So I did just cut down some scrap paper that I had on my desk. I'm going to use that for just a little bit more journaling here, and I'm going to journal that off camera as well, just using a fine point pen to just draw some lines. I don't care if they're straight, but if you do, definitely use a ruler. But I hope you like this video, and if you do, make sure you give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching. I do post 2 videos a week, and I do hope that you come back and watch some. Thanks again for watching. Bye.